It's fine.
forget and start talking.
Addition and multiplication are related whether you're using whole numbers or fractions. Example, 4 thirds equals 1 third plus 1 third plus 1 third plus 1 third plus 1 third equals 4 times 1 third. Show the relationship between the plus and multiplication, or addition and multiplication, using 5 halves. So I needed to have 5 halves to show the relationship. I'm adding 5 halves, and that would be the same as 5 times 1/2. Write 9 and 567 thousandths in expanded form. 9 times 1 plus 5 times 1/10 plus 6 times 1/100th plus 7 times 1/1000th. Using fractions, 9 times 1 plus 5 times 1/10 plus 6 times 1/100th plus 7 times 1/1000th. That was using fractions. This week, Oreo cookies are on sale. 2 packages for $5 normally. Normally, Oreos cost $3.29 per package. How much money will Sally save if she buys 4 packages of Oreos this week instead of next week? Well, there's a couple of ways that I could have done this, but I just chose this one, which was to figure out how much you save per package. So I divided 5 by 2 since I had my 2 here. Here's my equation or expression that I wrote, which is 5 divided by 2. So I needed to figure that out first. Okay? Now I have my cost of my Oreos, which is $3.29 per package. So I'm going to subtract what this cost would be from the cost that it previously was, okay, to figure out the difference in the cost this week compared to the normal price of the Oreos. Now, how much money will she save if she buys 4 packages? So once I figure out my cost savings per package, I'm going to multiply it times 4 since it's 4 packages that I'm buying. Okay, so if I divide 5 by 2, I get $2.50. Then I subtract $3.29 from $2.50, and I get 79 cents. If I multiply 79 cents times 4, I get a savings of $3.16. Draw a model of 11/4. So the first thing I need to know is that however many fraction pieces I'm going to have, they're going to be divided into fourths. So I wrote 2, and then I filled in 2, and I realized I only had 8/4. Then I made another one, which gave me 2 wholes and 3/4. So this 11/4 is equivalent to 2/3 because a model of 11/4 shows 2 wholes shaded and 3/4 shaded. List all the factors of 28. I got 1, 28, 7, 4, 14, and 2. 20, I have 1, 20, 4, 5, 10, and 2. My common factors are 1, 2, and 4. My largest common factor is 4. Day 2. Fractions are equivalent. They name the same amount. Show 2/3 as equivalent. Be able to prove it. So I have 2/3 shaded in. So what I did was I just decided to split this up into thirds and then split that up into half to give me 6. And as you can tell, if they're shaded in together, then they are equivalent. Yes, I could have broken this up again if I had chosen to. And if you did that, that answer would still be correct. Just make sure that you represent that it is 2, 4, 6, 8/12 instead of just 4/6. So you can do 4/6 or 8/12, or if you had another way that you divide it, just make sure the fractions show equivalence. All right, number 2, 523 and 14 cents less than $700. What you do is you subtract using your 700 first minus 523 and 14 cents. So I get $176.86. How could I change 700 to 699 and 99 cents to make this problem easier? Absolutely. I just subtract 1 and 1 cent. What do I have to do? I have to add it back at the end. Which of the following is best estimated of the best estimate of the answer? I round 700 705 to 700, and I multiply it times 3/10. What did you do to 705? I rounded it to the nearest hundred. Is multiplying 3/10 similar to dividing 1/3? Yes, it is similar, because if I divide 1 by 3, I would get about 333 thousandths, so it would keep going, but I can estimate this to be 3/10. Solve using order of operations. I divide first. 72 divided by 8 is 9. The next thing I do is rewrite. Now I solve. 9 times 3 is 27, minus 4 plus 10. 27 minus 4 is 23, plus 10 is 33. I have a different grouping this time, so I'm going to add before I do anything else. I get 14. I rewrite 72 divided by 8 times 3 minus 14. Now I can divide. I get 9 times 3 minus 14. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 minus 14 is 13. Did I get a different answer? Yes. So the answers are the same? No, they are not the same. Why or why not? Because my grouping changed. Fractions are equivalent if they have the same value. They can have a different numerator and denominator, but they have to have the same value. Day 3, I'm going to use an estimated sum. My estimated sum here is 200. My estimated sum here is 198 and 56 hundredths. Okay. Number 2, again estimating to the nearest 10. I get 73 minus 26, 47. I do an exact and I get 47 and 18 hundredths. Notice that these are both very close to each other, so these are reasonable estimates. Use the grid to show how to multiply. I have 70 plus 4 plus 6/10 times 30 hundredths plus 8 hundredths. I multiply each one, paying very close attention to my decimal placing. I add each one up and line up my decimals. I get 28 and 348 thousandths. Students, remember I can leave my decimals out, add everything up, and then move my place over 3 times. The product is 28 and 348 thousandths. There was an error here for number 4. This should be 74 and 6/10 and 38. So students, please make that adjustment on your homework, because they were supposed to compare this answer to this answer here. Please make that adjustment. Now, when I multiply using a standard algorithm, 74 and 6/10 times 8 hundredths, I got 5,968. Okay. 746 times 30, I get 22,380. I add this together, I get 28,348, but I have to put in my decimal places. I have 1 decimal place here, 2 decimal places here. 1 plus 2 is 3, so that means I need to move over 3 places, and this is where I put my decimal. Do the answers agree? Yes, they should agree. Write 3 equivalent fractions. Whatever I do to the numerator, I also have to do to the denominator. So in this case, I multiply it times 2, I got 6/10, times 3, I got 9/15, times 4, and I got 12/20. You can use any numbers that you want, as long as you use the whatever you do to the numerator, you also do to the denominator. Okay, day 4, write a division equation that can be used to find the value of B and then find the value of B. Here is my equation. 897 divided by 23 equals B. Okay, this is an equation because it has an equal sign. So now I find the value, I just divide. 897 divided by 23 is 39, so B equals 39. Okay, I'm going to skip down here to 3 because we do patterns so much at calendar. This is the one that I need to spend a little time on. Printer A can make 60 copies in 1 minute. Printer B can make 1/3 as many copies in the same amount of time. How many copies can printer B make in 1 minute? So if 60 is my whole, 2, 4, 6, 3 pieces of that is 1/3, then 20 would be inside each third. So if the printer can only make 1/3 as many copies, then only 20 would be here, and I can shade this in. 1/3 as many copies, because 60 is my whole. If I divide 60 by 3, or do what the fraction is asking us to do, which is multiply, 60 wholes, which is 60 over 1, times 1/3, I would get 60 thirds. Well, fractions are division, so if I divide 60 by 3, I get 20. Okay? So then that would mean that each piece would hold 20. So printer B can make 20 copies in 1 minute. Very slow printer. All right, so using our patterns, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to put this on the screen. You guys know this. I'm expecting this question to be answered. If you look up here, you can see the pattern compared to this. Since we do this on calendar, I'm really not going to go over it. Have a great evening.